Time on the show, then to turn our attention to Matlock Town Football Club. I'm delighted to say we're joined once again by the Gladiators manager, Martin Carruthers. Martin, how's it going, mate?
Really well. Just getting ready for Christmas now. Still not got my tree up, but yeah, ready and raring to go.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, first of all, we've finally got a game to talk about because Matlock went quite a while without being able to have a game. Of course, you also had a friendly arranged against Chesterfield's under 23s, which also wasn't able to go ahead in the end. But earlier on this week, Matlock played at home against Shirebrook Town in the third round of the Derbyshire Senior Cup, and it was in the end, I think a comfortable 2-0 victory for the Gladiators. That's easy through to the quarterfinals. First of all, just how much of a relief was it to finally get to see your players back on the pitch again? Because it had been a while that the players have actually seen some action on the pitch.
Absolutely desperate to get back. We know the importance of momentum and keeping players match fit and sharp. And, frustrating has been an understatement because, when you're together, you want to keep that going. I always say to the players, at the end of the season, it only takes 2 to 3 weeks for you to lose all your fitness and sharpness. That's why it's important, even in the off season, you keep yourselves ticking over. And training's all well and good, and when you're only training twice a week, and we've been training Saturdays as well. It's not the same. It doesn't replicate the sprints, the tackles, the competitiveness, and you lose it. And you could see that on Wednesday night against Shirebrook. We were way off the pace, and we were fortunate we didn't play. And that's not being disrespectful to Shirebrook. Play anyone, with a little bit more quality because we might have come unstuck. Credit to the lads. We got the job done. We kept a clean sheet. We did create some chances. We probably could have scored 5 or 6. They probably could have scored 2 or 3. But it was great to get a workout, some minutes in the legs, and that was vital. Going into the Bamber Bridge game because they've had no games called off. Playoff finalists. I know they're in a position that they shouldn't be in at the minute, but they're a very good side. A very good footballing side, and hopefully those minutes now will stand us in good stead for Bamber. But we need to be 10-15% better than Wednesday if we're going to get anything from that game.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Derbyshire Senior Cup won't be seen as a top priority this season. Obviously, that's aiming to be in the top five in the MPL Premier Division. But you're in the quarters now, and it has been quite a while since Matlock Town last won this competition. If you go one step further and make it to the semis, are you going to be, really willing the team on to try and get to a cup final here?
Yeah, during my time at Baseford, we won 3 not senior cups. They'd not won that for 30 odd years, and winning trophies is unbelievable. No matter what cup it is, what level it is, that's what you aspire to every season. We'd love an home draw in the next round. You have to be lucky with the draws in the terms of the opposition, and once you get to the semis and the final, then you can start thinking about winning it. So yeah, we're going to need a little bit of luck, but why can't we go and win the Derbyshire Senior Cup? We're good enough now. We're getting better and better. It's a tough Christmas fixture coming up, but we think on paper with how we're playing, with the players we're getting back now to fitness, that we're going to have a real chance to put some good points on the table and keep us in and around the playoffs.
Yeah, one notable aspect from that Shirebrook game was the return of Johnny Margaret. He had a brief absence through injury. Just how good was it to see Johnny back on the pitch? And of course, Johnny being Johnny, he scored again on his comeback. I've lost count of how many goals he's got now this season.
Yeah, that's 29. I don't forget. As a striker myself, I won't ever forget how many goals my strikers have scored. And I think as a striker, you should know yourself how many goals you've scored in the season, and certainly in how many games. I think that's 29 in 23 games now. I love my stats. He's just a goal scoring phenomenon, and to lose him, for a month, yeah, okay, we've lost those games. It's been a blessing in disguise, certainly for him and possibly for us as well, because you can't go out and buy a striker that can score goals like that at this level. He's been unbelievable, and Johnny does what Johnny does. He came back the other night, a goal. It was always a plan to play him for 45 minutes. He trains. He works at Doncaster, so he's training every day, and he's doing his own rehab. So we knew there was going to be no problems. He probably could have scored a hat trick, in that first half, but we'll take one goal, and he's up and running again. And sometimes what you find with players and certainly strikers when they've been out for a period of time, it might take them 3 or 4 games to get back up to speed and to get the goal scoring again. No, he's just proved that he can hit the ground running straight away. So it's an absolute massive boost, to us, and couldn't come at a better time, really.
And just a word as well on Conor DeMeo, because I know he couldn't feature in the end for the Shirebrook game, I think just due to admin reasons. So his return has just been delayed just a tiny bit further, but he's been away for 8 months. Of course, it could have been even longer. Of course, there was that amazing fundraising that went on to get the surgery that he needed. But obviously, that's a long time to be out of action for. Once he is available again, is it a case of just sort of easing him back in? Obviously, I get the impression that you won't want him to have like a 90 minutes straight away. You don't want to risk anything. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, is Tuesday night he was unbelievable in training. So
Hmm.
I was probably the most excited I've been this season going into a game. Looking forward to getting him on the pitch for 25, 30 minutes because he's an outstanding talent. His quality on the ball, his passion, passing, his vision, his creativity, help take us to another level. And we're desperate to get him back in this side and in and around the squad because it's been a tough time for Connor and his family. He's a great lad, got a great attitude, and he just wants to play football. So it was a real disappointment the other night. It's just one game, it's a setback, but he's going to be in the squad for the game against Bamber Bridge. We're going to try and use some of the under-21 games to get him some match minutes as well. But the lad is that good. We're just going to have to take the risk and throw him back in the squad and get him minutes with us. He's still got to get, fully fit. It's probably still going to be another 6 to 8 weeks before he's fully fit. But, a fully fit Connor, could be the difference between us, getting in the playoffs or not. And, we have to, get him fit and get him back in the side. And it'd be great to see a smile on his face again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just finally then, Martin, so looking ahead to Matlock's next game. So on Saturday, you're away against Bamber Bridge. What kind of game is in store for you there? Because Bamber Bridge, who in the past couple of seasons have done really well, but they're actually struggling a bit this time around. They're currently 17th, just a couple of spots above the relegation zone. What do you make of that game? Do you think Bamber Bridge, despite the fact they're struggling this time around, that's still going to be quite a tough away trip, that one?
Very tough away trip. Really good football inside. I've known Millie for years, and the way he sets his teams up and gets them playing. You look at the results. Against all the top sides, they've drew or they've lost by the odd goal. It won't be an easy game. And obviously we're at a slight disadvantage. With not having that match fitness and match sharpness. But, we're going to have to go there. We might not, have the most possession. They might dominate possession, but we've got to dig in and grind it out. We think the pitch is going to be heavy. So, it might not be a pretty game, but, we've got to go there with, it might be backs to the wall stuff, but we've got to go there with some grit and determination and, try and keep a clean sheet and grind a result out because, like I say, their position belies where they should be. And, I'm sure, once they get a couple of wins, they'll be pushing back up that table.
Okay. Well, great stuff, Martin. Thanks for the expert insight as always, and best of luck for that game against Bamber Bridge. And hopefully we'll speak to you again soon. But if not, before Christmas, have a great Christmas, Martin, and all the best to your family.
You too, mate.